Hello and welcome back to the channel. Hello to all of you on Instagram. Hello to all of you on Twitter and Facebook. I've got two phones running at the moment because you can't broadcast both to Twitter and Instagram at the same time. So I'll see how the views go on Twitter. It's always a little bit slower on the views on Twitter, so I'm going to just let that tick over. In the meantime, I'm going to stay live on Instagram, and it looks like Instagram's beating Twitter to the punch. But tonight is a special night. It's the night before Whisky Fair. It's the night before Christmas. It's always a big deal. Whisky Fair. It's always a big 2 days for the exhibitors. 3 sessions for us. I've just spent the last 2 full days. Thank you everyone who's just joining in now. Good to see you. Good to see you. Throw a wave to everyone coming in. Good to see you, Jimmy. Good to see you, Jerry. Old Barrel House, Fraser, William. Good to see you. Thank you all for joining on the live stream tonight. I was just saying, tomorrow is Whisky Fair, and tonight is the live stream before Whisky Fair. It's the night before, and I've had quite a few people ask me and sort of, quiz me on, what's the special bottlings, what's the society got in store. First of all, we've got the stage. I think I've already mentioned this already. You're going to see what it looks like tomorrow. If you're coming to the Friday session, you'll see it, but if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see it anyway. I'm going to post it all over the place because it's so good. It's so good. The stage is so fantastic. Oh, look, some people are joining on Twitter as well. There we go. I'm not going to kill them off just yet. It's not popular for Twitter. It is. So one of the feature bottlings we have on taste, Dave, Alex, good to see you. Thanks for joining in. One of the feature bottlings we have at Fair this year and is being released in September Outturn is a whiskey that yesterday the Whiskey and Ailment team in Melbourne, one of our key partner bars internationally, called this whiskey, the one that I'm going to talk about tonight and is in September Outturn and is on Fair and is at the bar at Whiskey and Ailment, they called it the highest scoring dram of all time. Think about that for a second. I know I said this yesterday in my post, but seriously, it's a bar that sees sometimes 20 new bottles a week on the bar. Every week of the year, 20 new whiskies at least every week. From different distilleries, from different bottling companies, from different countries, from everywhere. They're a proud society partner bar, and they see 20 new bottlings a week from different bottlers, and they called this one the highest scoring ever. That's huge. Dave, I think it is. I think it's actually, quite honestly, given the quality of what it is and the hype around it, actually think it's underpriced, but we've advertised it at $5.99, and I think it's going to sell out at $5.99. I really do. I hope it does. I mean, it'd be great if it did. I'm going to open my bottle. I'm going to prove to you that I've not actually tasted it yet. I was ready to taste it at Fair, but I realised I'm going to be pretty frantic at Fair, trying to look after everyone and actually making the whole room buzz. So I'm going to open this bottle here. You can see the grand on opening, getting that capsule nice and unsealed there. I always take these off. It bugs some of my friends. Is you one of those people that does anyone here keep the little caps? I don't know. I used to keep them on, especially for the colourful caps. I like to keep the colourful ones on. Mel Devine, good to see you. Good to see you. Been a while, Mel. Johnny, good to see you. Hope you're well. Oh, Johnny, God, you're in town. And you're watching my live stream. You should have been here for the live stream, Johnny. Tomorrow. You're in my live stream tomorrow, Johnny. Okay? Yeah, throw away. You know what? I'm with you on that one, Jimmy. That one's gone. Okay. Hillwood, thanks for joining. Yes, always keep. SMN. It's divided. No, I'm gonna put it aside for now because it's gonna fall off if I keep doing that. I've got a fresh society glass here, and I have I'm not going to break on the live stream this time. For those who watched that stream of me smashing a glass mid-live stream, that was fun. It's going to happen. Oh, yes, that's a clean cork. That's the sound. I'm not going to nose that bottle because, you know what? I actually take the approach of... a bit of cork on there. I'm going to take the approach of Andrew on this one. He doesn't... Andrew Durbidge, our cellar master, he doesn't like nosing bottles. He's one of those people that doesn't think nosing bottles is a good idea. I'm coming around to that thought. There's a few reasons for which I'll talk about in a moment, but I'm going to pour a glass of this first, and let's have a look what this looks like. Just a little bit. I've got to save all of this for just a tiny bit. I've got to save this for people at the fair and for members. It's a member-only pour, this one. Member-only pour at the fair. Doesn't matter how nice you are. You could sling me a bottle of something in return for a pour of this, and I wouldn't give it to you. Sorry. That's we have to be vigilant with that one. So I'm going to pour. That's less than 15 mils. Let's say it's about 12 or 13 mils almost. So this is my first ever nose of it. Ooh, wow. That's going to take a moment to open up. That's really going to take a moment to open up. Hey, I'm at the distillery dinner. Oh, Amalia. Barry, you're watching from the distillery dinner. You're watching live on your phone whilst you're meant to be paying attention at the distiller's dinner. It is distiller's dinner tonight. So I'm assuming, Johnny, you might be there as well. I hope you are. I know Dean Jackson is from Spring Bay and a few other distillers. It's already starting to open up. That's lovely. It falls under the spicy and sweet flavor profile. I won't talk about too much about that label because I talked about that the other night. It is a no age statement, but it is that's the prerequisite of getting casks out of this distillery in Taiwan. Yeah, it is very dark. It is very dark. I mean, I've got a lot of light on in here, Dave, just so I can illuminate these videos. But it is very dark. Under a more neutral light, you'll see how dark it really is. I don't know if I can do that on camera. Denise, hello. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Thanks. Hey, Denise, whilst you're here, thank you so much for sharing those drams at Whisky and Helmet with me a couple of weeks back. That was fantastic. So I really appreciate that. You and Raymond were very, very generous. Oh, that's really starting to come out now. At first, the first nose was sort of like grape and Turkish delight, but it's starting to, and that can often mean it's quite closed, but what's the drink? A port or dessert wine? Matthew, it's the highest scoring dram at Whisky and Helmet ever, and it's being released in our September Outturn. Spellbindingly Sublime 139.4, the first ever release we're releasing of Distillery 139, and an absolute milestone. Raymond, thanks for joining. Mel, I wish you had smell-o-vision. There you go. That's the next technology, smell-o-vision. That's the real deal, isn't it? Mel, did you have a tasting tonight? Did you have an event tonight? I think you did, didn't you? Did you? Am I getting my wires crossed? Last night? Last night. And tonight? I think it was last night. Tommy KMC, thanks for joining. William asks, what happened to bottles 1, 2, and 3? Okay, good question. Good question. Bottle 1, cask 1, is right here. That's the Chomping a Herbal Cigar, .1. That one we only got a very, very tiny allocation of. G'day, Tommy, good to see you. Tiny allocation. Yeah, rum this afternoon. I heard the rye, yeah, the Templeton. Yes, good stuff, good stuff. I shared a bit of the cask strength one with Matt Wooler last night. Small world, huh? Small world. .1, William, is sitting in my office here. This is like one of 4 or 5 bottles. Like, seriously, nothing came in. Only because the .1 was stretched very thinly between all the branches so that everyone got a crack at it. We are going to release a ballot for these later on in the year. And we've got .5 coming as well. So the Midnight Espresso, that falls into the deep, rich and dried fruits. That's a first fill port cask from that distillery. So that's a super premium release as well. However, this one is the first one we're releasing to members. Looks nice, wish I could taste. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to. There's a lot going on in that nose. It's almost like brown sugar. A bit of plum wine, like rich Manuka honey. I'm not big on announcing tasting notes. That's a 700 ml. Muzzman, yes, mate. Oh, looking forward to it tomorrow. There's a bit of lime in there, like lime in a taco or something. Like, what proof are we looking at here? 58.3. Some would call that the sweet spot. I'd say it's a little on the high side for how I normally like to drink my drams. I like them being bottled at the highest possible, but I do like adding a bit of water personally. Oh wow, that is on the palate. That is a remarkable whiskey. Oh. It's resinous. It's like resin and herbal resin, like an old record player. old furniture and an old record player in the corner. Oh, a bit of cola as well, cola lollies. That's lovely. That is remarkable palate. I had a beer earlier today, but that's my first dram today. I'm going to fairly easy tonight. I've got a big day tomorrow with Fair, and we're going to be fairly switched on and alert. Shellac, yes. Muzz, there is a bit of shellac in that, especially on the palate. Oh, wow, yeah, shellac. Old, almost like that smell of an old Bakelite phone. SMWS, much less heat than I was, yes, Insta Husband. Yes, these are all for tasting tomorrow at the fair, for Whiskey Fair, yes. SMWS, much heat. Far less than I was anticipating for 58.3, far less. There is a bit of heat, but in a good way. I like to say, like, you know how there's good sulfur and there's bad sulfur? I mean, you know, like there's spirit sulfur, there's cask sulfur. I call spirit sulfur good, cask sulfur generally bad. Not everyone agrees with me on that, but I would call this an example of good heat versus bad heat. Bad heat is when sort of like, bad heat for me is when it's kind of like, how do I describe bad heat? That's quite tricky. I'm going to kill off this stream just for a second. No, and bad heat would be like an example of when, like it's like a really young spirit that's not integrated with a cask. I love young spirits. I've said that to people before. I love young whiskies. I think there's a marvelous interplay of the spirit character from that distillery shining through in younger casks. However, integration of that spirit with the cask often doesn't meet at younger ages. Yes, out of balance with proof and flavours is a good brief way to say it. It's right. Concept by Gavin. Thanks for joining, Gavin. Looks like you and Mel are both in here. Yeah, so it's kind of like that bad heat is where it's unintegrated. The proof is unintegrated with the actual flavour of the spirit. This has got heat, but in a good way. You've seen me wince on some of the whiskies before where I've had. I'm not going to actually taste that again just yet. I'm going to add a bit drop water to this. It almost doesn't need it, but I want to see how it reacts with just a wee bit of water. See how that opens up. That's probably brought it down to sort of low 50s. Oh wow, actually. Like incense. Like smoking incense. But there's no smoke, it's just the incense. How do I just, like, walking into an incense shop, if you like. Like one of those hippie shops. I don't know what they're called. Someone's going to get angry at me for saying that, for sure. But you know what I mean? One of those, like, hippie shops that sell dream catchers and incense and stuff and soy lattes. Bit of tobacco, not too much. You know, some whiskies I find have like a tobacco note. Montronica joined. Oh, good to see you. Yeah, some whiskies have that sort of like menthol. It's almost a tiny bit of menthol. Wow. I didn't even know. I'm not even kidding right now. I didn't even know whiskey could taste like that. That is honestly, one of the most fascinating Sublime drams I've ever had. I'm not even kidding. I would put that up there. I would pit that against any. It tastes like, it's going to sound really specific here. Muzz, you'll get this reference. Not many people will. This tastes like what 1.183 Vibrant Enigma would taste like if it was distilled in Japan. Does that make sense? It was like a Japanese Vibrant Enigma, but in Taiwan. It sounds like a really weird way to describe that whiskey, but it's true. It's got that old leather and old couch and lime leaf and cola cubes and everything going on in it that I got out of Vibrant Enigma. Like, these sounds. I do like my sounds. Tell Georgie I'm all about sounds and soundscapes and noises and stuff. I've always been a bit like that. It's the musician in me. I like the sounds. I like the sounds of things, and that's why I'm quite intrigued. I've said this before. I'm quite intrigued by concepts, and I'm talking with someone actually next week about this because we're collaborating on something for society members for later this year. No comments yet. But we're talking about the sound of whiskey. And I know people have experimented here a bit before about what music pairs with drams. And yeah, it's true. You're not the only one to do it. It's true. It sounds like, oh, and and they come naturally. You think about it, you're like, what is this? That's so much fun. That is such a fun whiskey and so unbelievably complex. For those wondering, who are going to taste this at fair, add a drop of water. I recommend it. Sometimes I put water in my drams and I go, should have done that. This one really does hold up to water. That's fantastic with water. And I know this is really even super nerdy. That empty glass, I'm going to leave that until tomorrow morning. And when I go to wash it up tomorrow morning, before I wash it up, I'm going to smell it again. Because that smell in the morning can change. It's another dimension. Does anyone else here do that? Murray, I know you've done that before. Does anyone else do that whole sort of like smelling a glass the next morning, smelling the dirty glass the next morning? No, just me. All right. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So just to finish off this quick review and this quick taste test. As you saw, I opened that bottle fresh tonight. I've had about 10 mils out of it. Just yeah, we've all done it. Fraser, Raymond, we've all done it. Look, just to finish off this quick review tonight, SMWS, yes, of course. Two quick things. One, that is one of many bottlings, the exact number of bottlings, here's my quick little plug, that are in the September Outturn. You're being emailed that tomorrow morning. The full Outturn is going to be available. The online Outturn's on tomorrow morning. A TC trick. Yes. Stu Keen, thanks for joining. Good to see you. A TC trick, yeah, a Tony Chapman trick. You know, he hasn't tuned into these in a little while. I wonder what he does at 8 o'clock. He's obviously enjoying a dram downstairs, not worrying about the world around him. Whiskey Shelf background design. This is pretty good so far. I've got Outturns, whiskey books, records. Here we go. I've got an old Springbank there. I've got a trumpet here, some unfiltereds there, some empties, some Outturns. What else? Oh, Gil Scott Heron's still smoking his dart over there. Some glassware boxes, some empty bottles, about 6,000 bloody corks up there that I've got to sort through. A Gold Society bottle, don't worry about that. Anyway. And some empty decanters. Yeah, I know. Look, the other side of this camera is where all the whiskey is, and this is the Whisky Wall. So, hey, look, I'm happy with this for now. I know it needs a bit of design, but it's good for a live stream. Not great for maybe YouTube or something, but for a professional production of any means. But it's good for a live stream. And like I say, the real Whisky Wall of where I keep most of my whiskey. Some of it's off-site, but most of it's here, actually, I think. I'd say about 65% of it is in the office here, which is just bits and bobs of all over, and Society Wall over there, and non-Society Wall over there. And yeah, so I just keep bits and bobs everywhere of different bits of whiskey, including old Brookladdies, which are for Brookladdy night coming up. I hope that still goes ahead. Booking's been a little slow on that one, but I really want to do that night. I'd love for you to come along. The one I tasted tonight, just so you got a record, is a special release in September Outturn, Spellbindingly Sublime. It is $5.99. It is cask 139.4. There's only 30 bottles in the country. That's it. 3 have already been spoken for. So there'll be 26 or 27-ish on Outturn. Might be 25 if I buy one. No. We've got a very special rule, actually. We don't allow staff purchases of anything before Outturn. Because if I did that, state managers and myself and Susie and Andrew, we'd all just buy the really good stuff before members get a chance at it. And I don't want that to happen, so we've got a pretty steadfast rule on that, which I'm pretty happy with. It's, sort of, I got to stick by my own rule on that one. It's a rule I implemented, but it's still one I think that is quite important. So Outturn is Friday week. For those unfamiliar with Outturn, it's the first Friday of every month, except November, December, where it's a double issue, and that goes on the this year somewhere around 14th, 15th, whatever the middle Friday in November is, which is a Christmas double issue. And that's me for tonight. I can't think of much else I need to go over, really. This is my 8 o'clock live, as I said, every night. I was glad to get a chance to actually taste 139 tonight and see what all the fuss is about. That's an extremely high-scoring dram from the Whiskey and Element team, and they know their whiskies. I trust what they say about whiskey quite closely. We've got a few other goodies coming, of course. As you have already mentioned in a previous stream, Nighttime Lilies and Espresso is Malt of the Month. If $5.99 for a bottle of whiskey isn't within your budget, that's entirely fine. We're not an elitist club at the Society. We've got something for everyone. Malt of the Month this month, I think is $1.69 for a single cask strength, deep, rich and dried fruits whiskey. For $1.69 is bonkers good value in my opinion. I might even get one of those myself. Tommy KMC, good to see you. Mr. Kareem 33, good to see you again. You had some great questions the other night, Kareem. Good to see you in here again. We're just wrapping up the live stream. It's 8 o'clock every night. This one. You can set your alarm to it. I do. And I think that wraps up where I wanted to come from. Have a taste of that 139, 68 for the I should bring the camera in closer on that one, but I'll just zoom down a bit. There's those two for Outturn. 2 of the 15 I think releases in there. That's yeah, it isn't, but I doubt it will stop me. Jimmy, you and me both, mate. Like I said, a premium release from 139, a renowned distillery out of Taiwan, and 68.23, a kind of sister cask. I'm not allowed to use that word, but a very similar profile. If you like the whiskey and almond bottling, that's the one to get. If you didn't, that's fine. That's all from me. Have a great night. If you're coming to the fair, look for me. I'm up on stage. Come say hello. Give me a bug. If you're coming to any session, thanks, Mel. Thanks, have a great one. Farewell. See you on Saturday, Will. That's great. Mr. Kareem, thumbs up. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Mel, have a great, hope your rum night went well tonight with Cocktail Co. And I'll catch up with you all tomorrow night. I'll be broadcasting live in the last half hour of Whiskey Fair, which is the 8 to 8:30. It goes till 8:30, but I've got to do 8 o'clock. That's what I've said. So I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you tomorrow at the live stream at 8 o'clock. Cheers and good night.